Hello students, welcome to SGC online classes. I hope you are staying safe at home. This is first lecture in biology. We are going to see about the first lecture here. So this is lecture number 1. By the by, I am Mr. Guru Rajan, teaching you biology. Up to SSLC, 10th standard, you have studied science as one subject. But when you take the science group in PUC, this science has been divided into 3 major subjects actually. You may recall, one is called physics. Another one is called as chemistry, and the third one is known as biology, you may remember. In addition to this, there will be mathematics also in the science group. So physics, chemistry and biology, you are going to study 3 different papers actually. In SSLC, you have studied science as one paper and you have attempted for 100 marks. But here, physics you will be facing the exam for 100 marks, chemistry for 100 marks and biology for 100 marks. That is the science group basic point you have to understand. In this 100 marks, there will be 70 marks for theory and 30 marks for practicals will be there. So you are going to get exposed for practicals for the first time in these 3 subjects. 30 marks for practicals. In chemistry also 70 marks for theory and 30 marks for practicals will be there. In biology also 70 theory and 30 marks for practicals will be there. So this is the basic outline I want to give you about science group. So here 3 basic subjects are there: physics, chemistry and biology. Now, I will be telling you or dealing with biology only mainly. So, let me introduce the subject biology for the first class and tell you what are the chapters you are going to study in first year, PUC first year. Okay. Let me rub this point. With this basic introduction, you must know what is called biology. Jiva Shastra it is called. It is commonly known as natural science also. Biology is otherwise known as natural science. What is meant by natural science? Nature means here in this subject, you will be studying about the living organisms actually. So, what is biology means? Study about living organisms can be called as biology, remember. Study about living organisms. You may recall what are called living organisms. Generally in 8th standard, 9th standard, you might have studied the differences between living things and non-living things like that. You may recall those points also. Living things means they will exhibit a phenomenon called growth, you may recall. Growth means irreversible change in the size of the organism. In the size of the organism, if there is any irreversible change, it is not a reversible change, it must be irreversible change which cannot come back to the original condition. Such a irreversible, non-reversible change in the size of the organism can be called as growth. Not only in the size, even in the biomass or weight of the organism also we can say. That is called growth here, we can say here. Similarly, living things are exhibiting another property called metabolism. This is not there in the non-living components. Living things will exhibit metabolism, you have to remember. Before going in detail, you must know what are living organisms for that purpose. Generally, living organisms can be differentiated into two major groups. One is called as plants, we can say. Another one is called as animals, we can say. Plants and animals, they are included under living organisms mainly. In addition to that, after the discovery of microscopes and other things, even microorganisms like bacteria, virus and other things, they are also included under this living things only. Anyhow, let us come how these living things differentiate from the non-living things. The difference between living and non-living things, one is called growth. Another one is called as metabolism. You have to remember. What is metabolism? The sum total of SUM, I am writing here, not SOME. The sum total of all biochemical reactions taking place in the body is called metabolism, we can say here. Sum total of all biochemical reactions occurring in our body is called metabolism. Living things will exhibit that phenomenon called metabolism mainly. They will exhibit so many types of biochemical reactions. Mainly in lower classes you have studied about photosynthesis, respiration, digestion, excretion like that and all life processes. Those life processes are mainly based upon biochemical activities only. So sum total of all the biochemical activities will be known as metabolism. Non-living things do not exhibit any such metabolic activities. Only living things exhibit such metabolic activities. Okay, third point. Just I am telling the outline only. We are not going in detail about these points here. Third thing here is, main thing is reproduction, we can say. Living things can undergo reproduction. Non-living things do not undergo reproduction. What is reproduction? Ability to produce new offspring or ability to produce new living organism like itself. That is called reproduction. Reproduction can be defined as the ability to produce the offspring. The ability to produce offspring or progeny or children, that is called what is that? Reproduction, we can say. In lower classes, including 10th standard, you might have heard about this reproduction here. You may recall asexual and sexual reproduction also. In asexual reproduction, only one organism will be involved, uniparental it can be called. That single organism is able to produce what is that? Its own offspring. You might have heard about binary fission, budding and other type of what is that things, namely reproduction here, including regeneration, we can say. But living things can undergo sexual reproduction also. In sexual reproduction, two parents are involved, biparental. They will produce special cells for this purpose. They are already having muscle cell, nerve cell, bone cell and all. In addition to that, they will produce a special type of cell for the sake of reproduction mainly. Those special cells are called reproductive cells or gametes, they can be called, or sex cells, we can say. You might have heard the words like sperm and ovum, anthrozoids and ovum like that. That is the ability to produce the offspring. Remember, apart from growth, metabolism and reproduction, living things have another interesting property also, which will differentiate them from non-living thing. That is called as irritability, we can say here. Try to get this word, irritability. Irritability refers to responding to the stimulus. Response to the stimulus is called irritability. What is called the stimulus? Any external or internal change happening is called stimulus. Externally in environment there may be some changes like a change in the climatic condition, wind blow and other things can happen. Such a type of stimulus, such type of changes in the external environment can be called as one stimulus. Internally also we face the stimulus. It may be hungry or thirstiness or other biological feelings which are called stimulus. For we have to respond to that stimulus. We are responding to the external climate. We are responding to our internal stimulus also. That stimulus is, that response is called irritability. Non-living things do not respond for any stimulus. Whether outside will be heat or cold, they don't bother. Hot or cold, they don't bother. Living things are responding to the stimulus. In a 10th standard, you heard about chemical coordination and responding. Okay, that brain and nervous system you have studied. Those things are coming under irritability. These are the four major differences between the living things and the non-living things. That study about such a process, that is called biology or natural science it can be called. What is that biology? It is the study about living organisms. Mainly plants, animals and microorganisms are included under biology. Now, this biology can be further differentiated into two major groups. And then in that group, there are further subgroups and other things. Those subgroups and topics, we are going to deal in the PUC first year. So I will introduce you the syllabus for PUC first year as a prelude or introduction. Later we will go for one by one other chapters. Just to make note of these points. 1/2 minute. Okay, students, just as an introduction, I told you about all these points. You might have recalled about these points already. In lower classes, high school classes, you might have come across these terminologies also. When we come to PUC first year biology, okay, PUC first year, remember, in PUC first year biology, we are having 5 units actually and 22 chapters are there. 5 units are there, 22 chapters are there in the PUC first year. Just let me in this class, let me introduce some of the units and some of the chapters here. Just recall these points also. There are 5 units I told you. The first unit you have to remember here is about diversity of living world, we can say. Otherwise, diversity in living world, that can be called as the first point, first unit you have to remember. What is that diversity means? This word diversity can be otherwise known as biodiversity also. You will be recalling or you will be getting some new terminologies when I am introducing each chapter. Biodiversity it can be called. Diversity means occurrence of different types of plants and animals in this world or in this earth, that can be called biodiversity. We are not coming across only one type of plants. There are thousands of varieties of plants, thousands of varieties of animals and microorganisms existing in this world. Understanding about those variations or distribution, that is called biodiversity. So diversity of living world or diversity in living world, that is the first unit you have to remember. In this thing, you will be studying about some 4 chapters actually. The first chapter will be related to the living world, I can say. General introduction about living world. As I told you, what are the differences between living things and non-living things, how living things differ, that thing will be studied under the first lesson. Very simple lesson, we can say. Second chapter included under first unit is known as biological classification, we can say here. Biological classification. Remember one point, when there are lakhs of thousands of animals and plants existing in this earth, our lifetime will not be sufficient to study about all those living things. Is it or not? We cannot study about all the thousands of varieties of plant and animals. So what scientists do means, they classify, they bifurcate those living organisms into different groups actually. That grouping of organisms will be called as biological classification. Here I want to introduce another terminology also. What is called taxonomy, you have to understand. Taxonomy. I told you what is biodiversity. Now I am telling you about taxonomy. What is taxonomy? It is the identification, classification and nomenclature of various plant and animals. You have to identify a new organism. You have to classify them, whether they are unicellular or multicellular, whether they are prokaryote or eukaryote, whether they have any vascular system or not, whether they produce plant or flowers or what, whether they are movable, like that. Taxonomy refers to branch of biology which deals with identification, classification and nomenclature of the organism. Nomenclature means giving scientific name to the plant and animals. In lower classes you might have heard about binomial nomenclature, where 2 words are used for naming a living organism. First word is called genus name, second one is called species name. That is known as taxonomy. That lesson will be called biological classification. Dear students, you might have studied about 5 kingdoms of biology, namely Monera. Have you heard this word? Monera, you have to remember. There is another kingdom called Protista. Protista. There is a third kingdom called Mycota and Plantae, you may be remembering, or plant kingdom it can be called. Fifth one is known as Animalia. So, even though there are thousands of varieties of plants and animals existing in this world, we classify them into basic 5 kingdoms only. These are called kingdoms of biology, remember. What are the 5 kingdoms? Monera, Protista, Mycota, Plantae and Animalia. So studying about those 5 kingdoms, general characters of those 5 kingdoms you will be doing in the second chapter, that is called biological classification. You may recall, Monera includes unicellular prokaryotic organisms. Protista includes unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Different details we will study in the later classes. When we take this lesson, we will explain you all those points. In Mycota, fungi are included. Fungi plant, fungal plants, they are included under Mycota. Kingdom Plantae, very important kingdom, and kingdom Animalia, another important kingdom. About these 2 kingdoms, you will be studying in the 3rd and 4th chapter actually. What is the 3rd chapter you are going to study here means? The plant kingdom, it is called plant kingdom. Remember students, in the plant kingdom, you will be studying about various types of plants existing on this world. You may be recalling algae are a group of plants included here. Fungi are included under mycota except fungi. Algae, bryophyta. You might have heard this word, bryophyta. Pteridophyta. You might have heard this word also. I am writing the spelling here. Pteridophyta. Gymnospermae. Gymnospermae. You might have heard naked seeded plants are called gymnospermae. Flower producing plants are called angiospermae. About these plants, you will be studying in one lesson called the plant kingdom. What are those? Algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnospermae and angiospermae. Next to that, there is a fourth chapter we have to remember, included under first unit. I told you already, there are 5 units and 22 chapters. First unit I am explaining here, in that 4 chapters are there. First chapter is about the living world, second one is biological classification, third one is plant kingdom, fourth one is animal kingdom we can see. About animals, we have taken a separate chapter. Regarding plant and animals, we have taken a separate chapter here. In kingdom Animalia or animal kingdom, you may recall, there are several phyla, several divisions, you may be remembered. Each kingdom is further divided into divisions, class, order, family, genus, like that. Here you are studying about phylums of animal kingdom. Please recall, protozoa you might have heard, porifera you might have heard, coelenterata, platyhelminthes, aschelminthes, annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata and chordata. About chordates you have studied in the 10th standard also. Remaining phylum you might have heard in the lower classes, 9th, 8th and all. About those phylums we are going to recall again in this chapter. What is that? Animal kingdom. So this is the first unit. What is the name of that unit? Diversity of living world. Here you have to remember the words like biodiversity, taxonomy also. Study about plants, that is called botany. You may remember this point. Botany is nothing but study of plants. Zoology, study about animals will be known as zoology, you have to remember. So biodiversity, taxonomy, they are all common chapters, and there will be botany, zoology, like that also. Wherever possible, new terminologies I am introducing. Just make note of those points. What is taxonomy? It is the branch of biology which deals with identification, classification and nomenclature of living organisms. So here, living organism means commonly we talk about all the 3 groups, plant, animals and microorganism. Botany means it is purely based on plant only. Plant taxonomy is there, zoology taxonomy is there. Plant biodiversity, animal biodiversity. Like the various topics are there. We will see one by one later. Just make note of these points. First unit I told you. Make note. Okay, students, let us go for the second unit here. Suppose if you have not written so far, make a screenshot of this in your mobile, then you can copy it in the notebook. There must be a separate notebook, king size notebook for each teacher who are taking classes in different subjects. Okay. So remember, let us go for second unit. Just an introduction I will be telling you here. There are 5 units 22 chapters in biology. The first unit was about diversity in the living world or diversity of living things. The second unit, let me tell you here about structural organization in plants and animals. The second unit is about structural organization in plants and animals. This is about structural organization of plant and animals. Remember, what is this structural organization? Already you have heard the words like tissue, organ system, like that at various points. Here also, in this unit also, we are going to study about how plants and animals are organized into different structures. Some of them may be exhibiting only cells, unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium and all we can see. Some of them are becoming multicellular. Those multicellular conditions will organize into tissue level. You know, tissue, group of cells performing similar function. They may have similar structure and similar origin also. So group of cells having similar origin, similar structure and function can be generally called as tissue. You may be remembering in plant and all, we come across various type of tissues like meristematic tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem, like that. In animals we come across epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, even nerve tissue, like that. Various types of tissues are there. Let us see here how these animals and plants are differentiated or studied based on the structural organization. In this, there is a fifth chapter I am going to tell you. First 4 chapters are included under first unit. Let me tell you about the fifth chapter here. Fifth chapter is known as morphology of angiosperms. We can see morphology of angiosperms. Dear students, you may recall that word angiosperm. Flowering plants are called angiosperms. The plants which produce flower are called angiosperm. Don't think that all the plants are able to produce flower. There are many plants which do not produce flower at all. Algae, fungi, even bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, they do not produce flower. Only angiosperms produce flower. About their morphology, there will be one chapter we will be studying here. I am introducing another terminology called morphology. What is morphology? The word morphology refers to study of external appearance of the organism. External appearance. Study about external appearance or external features of an organism will be called as morphology. When you observe a plant, how does it appear? What are the parts present in that angiosperm plant? Whether it has got root, stem, leaf, flower, fruit, seed, like that, that is called external appearance. Do you get this point? Morphology of angiosperm will be the first topic. There is a second chapter, or the sixth chapter included under this first year biology. That is about anatomy. Anatomy of angiosperms we have to remember. Anatomy. What is angiosperm? Flowering plant. What is anatomy? Study of internal organization. Internal organization of the plant. That will be called as anatomy, remember. Study of external feature is called morphology. Study about internal feature is called as what the internal organization is called anatomy. Remember, as I told you earlier, there are different tissues organized in the plant. Meristematic tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, and all. How these tissues are arranged, where they are arranged, the pattern of arrangement of those tissues becoming an organ will be called as anatomy. So anatomy, another word we are learning here. What is anatomy? It is about the internal organization. What is morphology? It is about external feature of an organism. When we come to internal organization, we will be studying in roots of the angiosperm how the tissues are arranged. In the stem of the angiosperm how they are arranged. In leaves how they are arranged. That arrangement, internal arrangement of the tissues can be called as anatomy of angiosperm. Let me come to the 7th chapter here. 3 chapters are included under 2nd unit. The 7th chapter is called as structural organization of animals. Please listen. Structural organization in animals will be known as the 7th chapter. In animals, how the tissues are arranged. Animal kingdom is different. Structural organization in animal is different. In animals, there are epithelial tissue, there are connective tissue, there are muscle tissue, nerve tissue. So how those tissues are arranged, what they are made up of, how many types of epithelial tissue are there in the animals, everything we will be studying. Not only studying about those what are the tissues, you will be studying about organs also in this lesson. Different organ, digestive system means how these tissues are arranged in digestive system. That we will be studying, including our blood, bone, everything you will be learning in this lesson called structural organization. Apart from this, in 3 different organisms, how the tissues are arranged. Earthworm, cockroach and frog. 3 different groups of, 2 of them are invertebrates, 1 is chordata. Those 3 different animals, how they exhibit organization, how they exhibit tissues, we will be studying. So dear students, how many chapters are there? 3 chapters are there in the unit number 2. What are they? Morphology of angiosperm, anatomy of angiosperm, structural organization in animals. Here I introduced 2 names, morphology and anatomy. You might have heard them in lower classes also. Study of external feature is called morphology. Study of internal organization is called anatomy. Let us go for 3rd unit. Okay. There are 22 chapters. So far we have seen only 7 chapters introduction. Let me come to 3rd unit included in your first year biology. Unit number 3. I am going to describe here. The 3rd unit is about cell biology, we can say. Cell, its structure and function it can be called. It is about the cell basically we are going to study here. In this 3rd unit, there are again 3 chapters. You may recall 8th chapter, ninth one and 10th one we are going to study here. The 8th chapter will be based on cell structure mainly. So structure of a cell, basic structure of a cell we are going to study, which you have learnt in the lower classes also. As far as basic, you know that cell means, it is the basic structural and functional unit of the living organism. About that cell, we will be studying here. Difference between plant cell and animal cell, mainly we are going to concentrate. Then inside the cell, or covering that cell, there may be cell wall, there may be cell membrane, like that. Various envelopes of the cell we are going to study in this chapter. Apart from that, internally there is a jelly-like protoplasm present in the cell. You may recall that point. This protoplasm is further differentiated into cytoplasm and nucleoplasm in the eukaryotic cell. You may remember that point. So there will be nucleus, there will be cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, there are many organelles present here. I am introducing the term organelles here. What is organelle? Part of a cell is called organelle. What is an organ? Part of a body is called organ. Hand is the organ. Internally, that organ is made up of cells. Those cells are containing many organelles or parts in it. You may recall, these organelles can be of two types. Some are covered by membrane, some are covered by a covering actually. They are called membrane bound organelles, they can be called. So some organelles are membrane bound and some organelles are membraneless, we can see here. Some are covered by membrane, some are not covered by membrane, naked organelles. You may recall ribosomes and centrioles are the two main types of membraneless organelles. There may be other storage structures also. But membraneless organelle means mainly centriole and ribosome are the two types. Remaining all are covered by membrane only. That is endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosome, mitochondria, chloroplast, like various organelles are protected by their own membrane, including nucleus, I can say here. So all these structures, you will be studying in the 8th chapter, that is called cell structure. About their functions also you are going to study. What is the role of ribosome in a cell? What is the role of a lysosome? Why they are called as suicidal bats? Why mitochondria should be called as a powerhouse of the cell? All such point you will be studying in this 8th chapter, that is cell structure. The 9th chapter in your first year biology will be based on biomolecules. Remember, biomolecules. Dear students, you may remember that inside the living organism, inside the cell also, there are many type of chemical molecules present here. Those chemical molecules are exclusively found in living things only. Non-living things do not have those chemicals. What are they? Carbohydrates, you may be remembering. Proteins, you might be remembering. And fats or lipids, you may be remembering. In addition to that, enzymes, nucleic acids, vitamins, like that, so many minerals also. So many molecules are present exclusively in the living organisms. Of course, minerals are found outside also. But most of this carbohydrate, protein, lipid, vitamin, enzymes, nucleic acid, these are called biological molecules. Some of them may be larger in size, some of them may be smaller in size. Larger ones are called biomacromolecule. Smaller ones are called micromolecule. About those biological molecule you will be studying in this unit. What is that unit? It is about cell structure and function, which is commonly called cell biology, or otherwise it can be called as cytology also. Remember this word, cytology. So, studying about biomolecule is otherwise known as biochemistry. Remember, okay? Biochemistry. So in first year biology, you will be studying about biochemistry also, a separate chapter for this. I told you what is morphology, what is anatomy, what is biodiversity, taxonomy, like that. Now I am introducing the word called biochemistry. The chemical molecules located exclusively in the living organism will be called biomolecules. Third, 10th chapter, which is included under, otherwise the 10th chapter of this first year biology, it is about cell cycle and cell division we will be studying here. Cell cycle and about cell division, there is a separate lesson included. You know this word cell cycle. There will be cell division. You may be recalling mitosis is one type of cell division. Meiosis is another type of cell division. This before undergoing mitosis or meiosis, a cell will be getting ready for undergoing those divisions. That readying phase, getting ready, is called interphase. You may be remembering. That is called interphase. So there is an interphase and then there is a mitosis or meiosis. These two events, major events, will be occurring one by one or cyclically in the life of the cell. That is called cell cycle. That is the sequence of events happening in the interphase and M phase it can be called. M refers to mitosis or meiosis. Even you might have heard the words like cytokinesis, karyokinesis. Nucleus will undergo some changes during cell division. That is called karyokinesis. You may recall in mitosis and all you have heard about prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase, like that. About them and all we will be studying in this 10th chapter. What is that? Cell division. Mitosis and meiosis, very important lesson. You must know the significance of mitosis and meiosis and all. And you will be studying the differences between mitosis and meiosis, events in the mitosis and meiosis. That means how karyokinesis happens in the meiosis. You may remember there are two karyokinesis. There will be one meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Each time there will be one prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. Those events and all we will be studying in this 10th chapter. So dear students, first unit had got 4 chapters. Second unit, structural organization in plant and animals, 3 chapters. Third unit is about cell biology, here 3 chapters. 8th, 9th and 10th. 8th chapter is about cell structure, purely based on cell structure only. 9th unit will be based on the biochemistry, that is called biomolecule. Third one is cell cycle and cell division. Remember, here you will be cell division means mitosis and meiosis. This complete unit is otherwise known as cytology. Logy refers to study, cyto refers to cell. So study of cell, whether it is a plant cell or animal cell, whether it is a prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell, that will be studied under cytology. Right this, let me come to 4th unit. Okay. As I told you, there are 22 chapters. About 10 chapters, I gave you some outline. Let us go for the other units and chapters here. I am just giving outline only. Detailed study about each chapter will be done later. Let me come to the fourth unit. Very important and interesting unit. Fourth unit is based on plant physiology. Remember, plant physiology. You might have heard this word physiology. Functional aspects of an organism will be called physiology. The different functions performed by a living thing will be called as, what is that? This physiology, remember. Functional aspect. In 10th standard you heard about life process. Those life processes happening in the plant will be called plant physiology, remember. Morphology, anatomy, physiology, cytology, then biodiversity, then taxonomy, like that various terminologies we are seeing. Here remember, we will be seeing about functional aspects performed by a plant. Different functions, work performed by plant we are going to see. Please listen, there is a 11th chapter here, 4th unit, 11th chapter. 10 chapters are included in remaining units. The 11th chapter is about transport in plants we are going to study here. Transport in plants. Dear students, every plant needs water for their survival. In addition to water, there will be minerals required, food prepared, everything. Those, about the transport we are going to study. In lower classes, you might have heard about the terminologies like diffusion. You might have heard the word like osmosis. About diffusion, osmosis, active transport, passive transport, everything you will be studying in this lesson. That is called a transporting plant. Then there is a 12th chapter also we are going to study. That is regarding mineral nutrition. You have to remember. Mineral nutrition. What is this mineral nutrition means? Various types of minerals are required for plant survival. You may be remembering about calcium, magnesium, manganese, zinc, boron, like that, even phosphorus and all. Various minerals are required for the plant survival. About those minerals, including mainly about nitrogen. You know that nitrogen is the constituent of protein. About those protein constituent and everything we will be learning in this lesson. Apart from this, there is a next chapter which you have studied in 10th standard also. That is related to photosynthesis. In plants we are going to study here. Photosynthesis in plants. You may be remembering this word photosynthesis also. Where the plants will be taking carbon dioxide, water from the atmosphere. Of course, water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Then sunlight they will take. By using this carbon dioxide, water, in the presence of sunlight, how they produce sugar or glucose, it is called as photosynthesis. During the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is evolved. That point also you can recall how this photosynthesis happens, various steps involved in photosynthesis, like a light reaction, dark reaction and all, you will be studying in this chapter. There is a 14th chapter also, that is called respiration. in plants. Remember, respiration is also happening in plants. Otherwise, plants also perform respiration. Don't think that animals only do respiration. Plants will also do respiration. So how plants are doing respiration, how they take oxygen. Here carbon dioxide is taken, there oxygen is taken. The same reaction if you write reversibly, that will be an outline for respiration in plant. Here in the respiration of plant only, you have come across anaerobic respiration, aerobic respiration. You have learnt about the role of mitochondria and everything. That is respiration in plants. Apart from this, the 15th chapter in plant physiology is related to plant growth and plant development, we can see. Plant growth and development we will be seeing here. In plant growth and development, you will be knowing about different types of plant hormones. Remember, about plant hormones you will be studying here. You have heard about auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, then what is that? Abscisic acid, like that. About those plant hormones we will be studying in this lesson. How those hormones are helping for plant growth, how seed germinates, what are the flowers, how flower blossoms, everything you will be studying here. This is the 4th unit. So, there are 5 units and 22 chapters. In today's class, I told you about 4 units outline. Still there is a detailed study. In the first unit, what is the diversity of living world? 4 chapters are there. Second unit, it is about structural organization in plant and animals. 3 chapters are there. Third unit, it is about cell biology. 3 chapters we have seen: cell structure, biomolecule, cell division. There is a 4th unit, plant physiology. So 4 chapters in the first unit. In the second unit, 3 chapters. In the third unit, 3 chapters. In the 4th unit, I told you 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 chapters. Totally 7, 10 plus 15 chapters, I told you the outline. Remaining 7 chapters are there, that we will see in the next class. So, you plant physiology. You heard the words like physiology, morphology, anatomy, everything. There may be Kannada medium students. I have not used Kannada words so far. But remember, you are going to write the exam in the English only. Since you have taken science group English medium, you have to write the exam in English. And it is better to learn one by one. Suppose if you have not understood any word, any topic, means refer to the dictionary. There are biology dictionaries available. Or make note of those special words and ask your seniors, or even you can call us also. We will help you. Okay. Anyhow, better to learn in English, which will be helpful for writing the exam in English. Thank you, students. I am completing the first class where I told you about 4 units in the biology. Let us see the human physiology in the next lesson. Okay, next class. Thank you very much.